Welcome to Tech Talk here on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk. I'm Greg Rhodes here with David Levitt, president and founder of Refresh Computer Superstore, and technician Adam Littlefield. You can contact the Refresh Computer Superstore by calling their free tech support hotline at 407-478-8200. Or if you have any other comments during the show, go ahead and leave an open mic using the WDBO app. You can also check out the website over at refreshcomputers.net or stop at the Refresh Computer Superstore in Longwood at 820 East State Road 434, just 3.5 miles east of I-4 in Longwood. Store hours are Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. If you're listening to the show here on Saturday, it means you still have time to stop by. They'll be open until 7 p.m. today. And now, David Levitt and Adam Littlefield.
All right. Thanks, Greg. And thanks, everybody, for listening to yet another edition of Tech Talk with Refresh Computers. So happy to have you listening in to another show. This is going to be another exciting show. And I love our new format. Well, our new format, we've been doing this for several months now, but it's more about technology. It's more about things that you may want to be hearing about, right?
The stuff that's expanding in the world that, some people don't even hear about right now.
That's right. A few weeks ago, we talked about war technology.
Right.
And how, or was that last week?
I believe that was last week. Yep.
Last week, we talked about the technology, how it's advanced and the different ways it's being used to fight wars. So that was an interesting show for sure. Today, we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about AI agents and what they really are. And you really need to listen to this one because this brings AI up to the next level.
Right.
And it has already brought AI up to the next level because they were just being recently initiated. So we're also going to talk about whether or not your computer is AI ready and what does it mean to have a computer that can do AI stuff. And so what kind of computer do you actually need? What kind of components do you need in that computer? And we're going to talk about that a little later on. We're also going to talk about robots again and talking computers. And, they're finally getting real, and finally doing things and that, useful things. So, and then we'll wrap up the show a little later on. But let's talk, before we get into any of these topics, something new at Refresh Computers.
Some big changes going on.
Big change in our 26-year history. We have never took trade-ins. So when people would come in and ask, hey, can you give me some money for this computer if I buy a computer from you, basically? And the answer has always been no, because we have pretty good solid sources, and we continue to have the same sources and even more sources, more than we can actually use, quite frankly, to where we pick up our computers that we refurbish and get back out for resale, better than new computers. But we would never take a trade-in, and we still will not, even though we're going to start taking trade-ins now, we've just started, we still won't outright buy your computer. And the fact of the matter is, because I don't know where that came from, you know what I mean? So, but the feeling is if you have a computer and you want to trade it in for credit towards a computer that you buy at Refresh Computers, the chances are pretty good that you own that computer because
it's got your information on it.
That's right. It's got stuff on there. So these are things that we'll verify,
exactly,
like you just said, Adam, before we'll allow a trade-in, because we want to make sure it's legitimate. And so, it's available. Now, you do have to bring it into the store. We can't give you a price over the phone because we actually have to see it.
Yes.
It's good, and it's good for desktops and laptops. And I will say it's going to be for 7th generation or newer. We'll be able to allow for some trade-in value for a computer that you may have that you want to upgrade to a newer, fresher computer that you purchased from Refresh Computers.
Yep.
So you can call that free tech support hotline for more information, 407-478-8200, or bring it by the Superstore there in Longwood, which is you're going to have to do anyway because we can't give you a trade-in value until we see it, because we have to see things like broken hinges, broken screens on laptops, things like that. And we actually have to see with our own eyes before we can give you the trade-in value. And it'll be on-the-spot trade-in value, too. So if you buy something else at the store, we can apply that credit towards your invoice for that computer or laptop that you purchased. So I'm really excited about doing this because, we have so many people that's over the years I just would like to get a little bit of money for this, before I just toss it or something.
I was going to ask what's kind of inspired the change. I know that, like you mentioned, it's a big change for you guys over the last 26 years.
More and more people are are looking to do that.
Yes.
I would say.
The need for Windows 11 is become the biggest, I think, push of needing to upgrade your computer at this point in time.
Still is.
Yes.
Still is. And we'll have to take a look and see how many users, because we used to, when Windows 11 came out, we would say, well, geez, up until this point, there were still more Windows 10 users than Windows 11 users.
Right,
and,
yeah.
And I'm just wondering if that's the case right now or not, but it should be easy enough to find. So, but let's talk a little bit about some of the techie stuff we wanted to get into and why you need to listen up about AI agents.
Some of the fun stuff. We almost missed putting this on air because we couldn't stop talking about it.
That's right. I mean, AI agents are something that, let me give you the best example I can give you is, this just started it with the new version of ChatGPT, and which came out, I think, in March 6th or 7th. And the old AI, you ask ChatGPT something and it will do the research. It'll come back and give you an answer. It'll even give you some code to code something if you want to do that.
Right.
But the new AI, what ChatGPT has come out with, which is why this is advancing AI 100 times or more, 1,000 times maybe, but are these AI agents. So now what happens is when you ask ChatGPT to do something, an AI agent there is looking at it, and which would be, instead of giving you the response right away, it's shooting it over to another agent who's looking at the response that the first agent came up with and tweaking it. And actually you can see a conversation between the agents, and sometimes a third agent or a fourth AI agent gets involved, depending on how complex the situation is. And so these agents are chatting about what's the best way to show you the answer to what you're looking for.
So to me, it sounds like with the old AI, how we have it right now with Grok, ChatGPT, it's a simple chatbot. You're one single worker. You can ask something, and they'll do the work.
You ask a question, it gives you an answer.
This new one is like you've got your own R&D team. You've got these different bots that are talking to one another, discussing information that you're asking about, and they will spit out something way more focused than what this old one was going to do.
A full brainstorm session out on the side by itself.
Exactly.
So the latest OpenAI GPT, right? ChatGPT 5.4, which came out March 5th, actually. So it utilizes these agents, and it's just so awesome. I mean, the agents, well, they understand what your goal is. They have a discussion. They break it down into steps, and they take actions autonomously, right? And report back or finish the task that you're asking them for. And the difference would be like, saying, plan my trip, right? Instead of telling it step-by-step instructions. So it'll plan your trip. I mean, if you want it to, it'll make hotel reservations for you, airline reservations for you.
Wow.
It'll do all these things. I don't know if I would do that myself.
Yeah. I know you like to travel. You like to pick your own destinations.
I want to pick everything.
But thinking about it, this new OpenAI ChatGPT version, with the memory it has, I could almost bet that if you give it your itinerary, Dave, how you would plan it, I bet you AI could plan something that's right up your alley at some point.
It can do that now. It can do that now, and you would have you have the option today to tell it to automatically implement a few things, right? So, or not.
Right.
Just show me what you're talking about. Show me the reservation that you want to make for me, and if I say okay, make it for me, and boom, it does. I mean,
and like you said, these models, they remember previous conversations. They have this storage of a profile of you, if you will. So me being like a Chicago Cubs fan, if I told it, hey, I want to plan a trip to Chicago, it already knows I'm a Cubs fan and is probably going to try and do things that are maybe based around something like that. So if it knows your preferences before you ask it to make this itinerary that we're using as an example, I bet it's going to build something pretty personal to what it knows about you, right?
Yeah, it will. And again, you can let it. I mean, this is like giving access to a lot of your stuff that it would be very uncomfortable for me to do, and I think most people
more personal than being a Cubs fan. Right?
Look, it sounds up my alley because I'm comfortable having my car drive me. I'd be comfortable to just let an AI plan something for me and see where it takes me. I'm young, I can travel, I can just figure it out. When it stumbles, I'll figure it out.
Adam said, blindfold me, ChatGPT. Take me where you will.
Exactly. It's these agentic AIs. I know they're now starting to experiment as well with desktop emulation. I know ChatGPT, this new version, is actually starting to get native computer controls like keyboard and mouse inputs.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Exactly.
That's going to be game changing, I think. That's going to change office work, any sort of computer-based work.
Well, you can actually tell it to go into desktop mode, so and actually show you the screen in split screen. I mean, that's how it's gotten. So you can see it actually doing an instance of a desktop on the side of your screen.
Man.
Working and doing things that you would want it to do. And, again, in order for it to get really personal with you, which I'm not there, I'm not comfortable with that, not yet. I'm a long ways from being comfortable actually for that. I mean, you're going to have to give it all kinds of information about you in order for it to be able to do things for you. Right. So, for example, it can't make your airline reservation.
I was going to say it takes a lot of personal information to
unless
book an
it
airline.
has your airline login credentials, your
flight number,
your flight, all these things. So it has to have all this information that you're going to have to share with it and trust it. And for mainly for security reasons, and the unknown.
Yeah,
this is too new. It's in its infancy. That I'm going to have to wait probably a long time. I don't know. But as fast as this technology moves, maybe not so long.
No.
I don't know. But it'll do things. You're going to have to give it, things like your bank account information, credit card numbers, all that stuff. It's going to have to know. It's going to have access to.
Right.
So it's not like it would be stored out there in the cloud. It would have to be have access to it maybe in your, from your own personal desktop computer.
Like in your browser.
Where your computer has to be on for it to be able to get it, and which is another crazy thought.
Yeah. And the way I kind of think about it is, you're right. It is very scary to think about giving that kind of information to an agentic AI like this. But thinking on the counterpart, a lot of people have travel agents. They give that information over to another human being sometimes. Another human being that could have ulterior motives.
That's true. You hit the nail right on the head.
Yeah.
I mean, you can when you go to a travel agency, a lot of times you're giving them all your information in order for them to plan your trip for you. And so the thought just occurred to me. I feel bad for a lot of these travel agencies now, because this is all going to be automated to the point where how much are they going to be needed? I mean, you look at that example. That's just one out of probably thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of examples of the types of services that are going to be automated that you don't need to actually go somewhere.
Right.
Or speak to somebody.
It's going to almost start making work optional for a lot of people, because, you take a lot of that element out of the world. You take it out from 90% of the world. People are going to have more time for their hobbies, for living, but also if they want to work still, there'll probably still be jobs, I can imagine, that need a human there.
Yeah, I would think so.
And I don't think we're in the future yet where the human element is taken out of our lives.
Not yet, but a lot of it's coming.
Yeah.
Sooner than you may realize. And before we go to the break, I want to mention this to make sure you stay tuned, because we're going to talk about, after the break, we're going to talk about just what kind of computer do I need to get all this done. And the answer might be surprising to you, maybe not.
Yeah.
But you really just don't really need much, because most of what's going on is going on up there in the cloud.
Exactly, up in the data center.
With all these agents. That's where, they're spending all this money and making all this RAM shortage.
Right.
Solid state drive shortage is happening right now, because all that memory is needed to do all these tasks we're talking about, which means your computer or your laptop really doesn't need to be set up as much as you might think it needs to be to take advantage of all this stuff. And we'll get into that after the break.
We'll take a look at that coming up. You've been listening to Tech Talk right here on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Hey there, and welcome back to Tech Talk here on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk. I'm Greg Rhodes here with David Levitt, president and founder of Refresh Computer Superstore, and technician Adam Littlefield. You can contact the Refresh Computer Superstore by calling their free tech support hotline at 478-8200. Or if you have any other comments during the show, we'd love to hear them. Use that open mic feature inside the WDBO app. And now back to David and Adam.
All right. Thanks, Greg. And thanks, everybody, for listening to Tech Talk with Refresh Computers. In the previous segment, we talked about AI agents and why they're so important. And this is something new going on.
Some of the exciting stuff with
something
AI.
Very exciting going on. And if you missed any of that, go to refreshcomputers.net, click on that podcast link, and you can hear the show in its entirety. And better yet, scroll down to the bottom of that page, put in your email address, and we will send you an email when the next segment is actually out and able to be listened to on the internet. So we're very excited about being able to do that for you. So we talked about these AI agents and what they're doing, how instead of just asking ChatGPT or Grok or any of these AI tools that you use, a question, waiting for a response, it comes back, it answers. Now it's actually agents talking to each other.
Right.
And figuring out what's the best way to respond to you before it actually responds to you.
It has to take a lot of resources to run, multiple AI agenic bots like that, communicating, researching all at the same time. But
it's in the cloud.
A lot of that happens at the data centers that they've been building.
99% of it.
Yeah.
In fact. So what kind of computer do you need to get this?
You don't really need a lot. Modern computers, this day and age, anything that's running Windows 11, it acts as an interface almost for these AIs.
It is.
So a lot of the stress is already taken off of your shoulders. So I believe for most systems right now, like top tier AI ones, you're looking at like the Intel Core Ultra processors. Those came out like around 2023, I believe.
Which are totally not necessary.
No, those are overkill for
AI
use.
For doing your AI stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, for 99% of us. If you're a programmer, maybe it'll help a little bit. But for 99% of us, you just need an 8th generation processor or newer. So basically, if it's capable of running Windows 11, you already have an AI tool.
Yeah. And I think, maybe that was the point of that Windows 11 cutoff being at the 8th generation. I know it was first for the security chip that was in it.
Yeah.
But now it's also looking like, that was the bottom for AI support. And that might have been Microsoft's long-term goal with it.
Well, and what kind of memory do you need?
Well, only around 16 gigabytes. You don't need more than your average computer.
So if you have a computer with 8 gig of RAM, it may not do as quick a job. You may have to wait a little bit longer for one of your AI tools, whether you use ChatGPT or Grok or whichever one you use. You might have to wait a little bit longer for it to respond. But 16 gig of RAM, you'll get the response just as quick as you would. Any other computer. So.
Exactly. 32 gigs of RAM, that'd be ideal for it. But 16, it should have no problem. I believe also with a lot of systems now, you can have a graphics card like an NVIDIA GPU in it, and that actually that'll help it as well.
That'll speed it up a little bit. So we have laptops in the store, for example, that are Windows 11 laptops, 8th generation and newer, that have a built-in GPU, which is a graphics processing unit. So it has you've heard of NVIDIA probably, and they make mostly graphics card. So basically it's a graphics card built inside a laptop. And same thing with the desktop computer. If you want to speed up your AI processing a little bit, then having a video card certainly is going to help.
Is there anything special that you need to do after having a video card installed to make it utilize these AI processing powers, or is it just a part of how it's going to operate?
It just does it.
It just kind of does it. The AI sees it and goes, oh, I see that GPU's connected. I work better on those cores. I'm going to work there instead.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why this works without like an NPU, the neural processing unit that a lot of AIs use. They're so efficient on those processors, but GPUs are still pretty good.
Well, let's face it too, the makers of ChatGPT, Grok, all the AI tools, 99% of the computers that are made that are in the world are probably 8th gen, 9th gen, 10th, these computers that don't have that built-in NPU. So they have to make it work.
Exactly.
For all of us.
Yeah.
And so that's another reason why, it's certainly, an 8th generation or newer computer, we're talking about 2017, 2018 year model and newer is all you really need.
Before AI was ever even really a thought like it is now.
And is there a quick way for the folks at home to be able to check their computers, make sure that they're set up for that?
Yeah, you can actually go onto your taskbar. There should be a little search down there. It may look like a magnifying glass. You can click that, type about this PC, You can click the first thing that comes up. It'll tell you the processor, the amount of RAM your computer has. It'll also tell you the version of Windows that you're on as well.
And if you want to, you can call us also if you don't want to do that.
Exactly.
407-478-8200, that free tech support hotline.
We'll have more on this conversation and AI-focused show here today. You've been listening to Tech Talk right here on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Welcome to Tech Talk here on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk. I'm Greg Rhodes here with David Levitt, president and founder of Refresh Computer Superstore, and technician Adam Littlefield. You can contact the Refresh Computer Superstore by calling their free tech support hotline at 407-478-8200. Or if you have any other comments during the show, go and leave an open mic using the WDBO app. You can also check out the website over at refreshcomputers.net or stop in at the Refresh Computer Superstore in Longwood at 820 East State Road 434, just 3.5 miles east of I-4 in Longwood. Store hours are Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., which means if you're listening to the show here on Saturday, you still have time to stop by. They'll be open until 7 p.m. today. And now, David Levitt and Adam Littlefield.
All right. Thanks, Greg. And thanks, everybody, for listening to Tech Talk with Refresh Computers. A couple reminders before we get into this really cool next segment is that you can listen to the show in its entirety by going to refreshcomputers.net, clicking on that podcast link at the top of the page, and you'll hear this show along with several other shows if you want to listen to those.
Going a couple years back.
Going back 3 years back now. So more importantly, go down to the bottom of the page, put in your email address there, and just hit enter. We're not going to ask you for a whole bunch of questions, just your email address. And you can be automatically notified as soon as this podcast is ready to listen to on the internet. So that's something that you might want to check out. And another reminder is what we started the show off with is the fact that at Refresh Computers, in the first time in our 26-year history, we're taking trade-ins. So bring that old computer or laptop to the store. We actually have to have it in the store to be able to give you a trade-in value. We have a calculator right there at the counter. We'll be able to tell you what your computer trade-in value is on your laptop or your desktop, and we can apply that to your invoice when you purchase an upgraded computer or laptop at Refresh Computers.
And if you have any questions about that, you can give us a call. The number's 407-478-8200. That'll connect you to me or any one of our other wonderful technicians we have there if you have any questions, but we can't give those quotes over the phone, so the system has to be brought in store. So the meat and potatoes, the robots.
Well, robots and talking computers. I mean, they're getting real.
They are.
This is real useful robots, not just something that you can gawk at and say, oh, that's cool, but it's something that you can say, oh, that's cool, and oh my gosh, can it really do that for me?
We went from AI interacting on your PC in the first segment to now it's going to be interacting in real life.
In real life.
Real world, yeah.
And these are mostly AI-driven tools and robots that we're going to be talking about here, and like stair climbing vacuums now. Right?
Roomba, I believe, was the one that's coming out with that. We talked about that on our CES show a couple of weeks ago.
Listen, I was surprised when they figured out how to not go down the stairs.
Yeah.
Much less going to start climbing up the stairs. So
it's still a little funny, though, to get the notification that says, help, I'm stuck at a cliff.
I'm at a cliff, yes.
But, I believe we also talked about some humanoid robots that were showcased at CES that'll be able to do things like cooking, laundry, the dishes, again, all driven by these agentic AIs.
And the stuff you used to see in the Jetsons. I mean, it's coming true. How many other things in the Jetsons have happened in the original Star Trek?
Right.
There's a lot of stuff, So
we're going to have flying cars at some point.
I'm waiting for my own Rosie at this point. Right?
Yes.
That's right. Yes. And you know what? It's coming soon, Greg. Coming soon to a store near you, probably. So another thing that really just blew me away, Adam, was the fact that you can get programmable Lego blocks now.
Yeah.
I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah, Legos, they've always been kind of on the frontier of innovation with toys, of all things. But even in our toys, something like this where we have a screenless but digital interactive brick now. This is they're part of their whole smart play thing. It's got a gyroscope. It can tell when it's upside down. It can tell if a character is next to it, and it reacts to it. So it's almost like your play sets are now alive.
And these are available now?
Yeah, these are available now.
my
I think
gosh.
they've got about 10 or 15 different sets that utilize it.
I'm going to have to check that out, because I have 2.5-year-old twin grandsons. And gosh, we just bought them a huge Lego tool set.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a big construction site, Lego block box sent to them by Amazon. They're my 2.5-year-old grandsons. They know what an Amazon truck is. They know what a UPS truck is. They know it's UPS. Oh, mommy, UPS. Amazon's here.
My 3-year-old loves having conversations with Alexa.
See?
So.
and so the twins one day said, hey, is that says Balboa, which is his name, right? One of the twins. It's Balboa on the label. And mommy said, my daughter's like, no, that's your daddy. It says Scott. It doesn't say Balboa. And he said, no, Balboa. And so when my daughter told us that story, of course, what do we have to do? We ordered the big Lego blocks to be sent by Amazon with their name on the box, right? So
Nice.
I got one for Balboa and the other one for Kavika, his twin brother. And so, they got their first Amazon delivery and they were really excited about that. But that's what made me think about that, because they were Legos.
Yeah.
And when I was shopping for these Lego blocks, I didn't even look for an electronic version of Lego blocks.
Right. It's not something you think about when you think of Lego. And that's kind of what I like about it, because it introduces a new level of play for kids without handing them an iPad.
Or adults.
Or adults, yeah. Adults too, ages up to whatever it may be now.
Ages 3 to 99, right?
Exactly. So, but then that means if you're 100, you can't play with it. So,
Sorry.
but that's what I'm excited about. Is the integration where we're seeing kind of in the level on the consumer, where we can see, toys are expanding with it. But our digital lives, Dave, you use AI a lot now, just in general.
Well, and hospitals,
Yeah.
elder care.
We're going to have so much more robotics as the technology solidifies. It stands its ground and proves that it can perform better than a human.
And also like the natural feeling voice
Right.
of AI. So let me interject something else here, just an opinion. But if you're a business, like I'm going to call out the Gaylord Palms here in Orlando. We called them to make a reservation about a month or so ago and had to go through this whole AI generated answer. I mean, everything was completely AI when I called to make a reservation, and it just ticked me off to no end because it couldn't just get it right. Gaylord Palms, Marriott, you own Gaylord Palms. If you're listening, yeah, before you implement something like that, man, it's got to be perfect.
Yeah, there's got to be a lot of testing.
You just can't be put out. There's businesses going out of business because they jumped the gun on implementing something like that. And I'm going to make a promise to every one of my customers is that when you call my store, you will never, not as long as I'm alive, ever get a robot answering a call. It's going to be one of our employees live.
One of our technicians that work on the floor that have the knowledge to answer your questions. You're not connecting to a person that'll redirect you and have you on hold for an hour. It's going to be somebody that can help you right away.
And the same when you send us an email. If you have a question for us at the store, the email address, by the way, is longwood@refreshcomputers.net. So just simply longwood@refreshcomputers.net. All of the employees at the store have access to that email, which makes it easier for us to respond as quickly as we can because everybody can see them. And another promise I'm going to make to you is the fact that we will never, ever automate a response to your email to us either. Sometimes it may look like an automation because let's just face it. I mean, we're all a bunch of nerds that work there, right? It may come across as pretty geeky sometimes, but it's an actual person typing that response. It's not going to be an AI generated response. So as advanced as AI is, and as excited you can probably hear in my own voice that I am about the advancements in its technology, it's not ready to take over answering your phone calls yet. If you're a businessman, don't even look at that yet. It's not. It's just not.
Well, we've seen the issues that it's even had
soon,
right? But we've even seen like some of the issues with fast food restaurants jumping the gun a little bit on some of those AI automated ordering setups, and we've seen some of the issues of those where people are ordering like 99 cheeseburgers or something,
or
like
1,000 tacos,
right? And it just can't quite keep up with on-demand requests that need a little bit of touch to kind of navigate a little bit more. But again, like you mentioned, it's getting really close.
Well, let's just face it. I mean, here's my own 2 cents. If I want an electronic version of something, I'll do it in my computer. Also, I have a computer for that. If I call or email somebody, it's because I want to hear back from somebody, not a robot, not an AI agent. I want to hear back directly from somebody because that's the path I chose to contact you. I would expect you to respond to me in the same manner, not give me some automated thing that I'm not going to be able to understand. Or just tick me off because I know it's coming from a AI bot.
Yeah.
And
you just can't get through by yelling, assistant or front desk or something. It doesn't understand.
It doesn't. And there's some things like when I make a phone call, there's voice menus that I can use to get information. Fine. I'm not talking about that. Check the balance on my credit card, that kind of thing. Fine. But if I'm calling because I want to talk to somebody, darn it, I want to talk to somebody. Yeah. I don't want to go through that. Maybe I want somebody to tell me what my balance is on my credit card. Maybe I want that instead of maybe. I don't understand why you would, but when you
because then maybe you might have an immediate follow-up as to maybe that's not the balance you anticipated or another step that needs to be taken on top of that process. And again, an AI bot at this point right now would say, I've completed that task.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? And then you have to restart the whole process all over again.
Right.
And it's funny you say that because a lot of how these AIs work now, like ChatGPT and Grok, when you're in your conversations, is its memory is only to basically that conversation. So if you start a new one, it's like a clean slate. The AI doesn't remember what you just talked about. So, when you're talking over the phone to somebody, asking about your balance, and you go, oh, wait a minute, that's thousands of dollars lower. Well, I'm sorry, sir, I don't quite understand what you mean. And that right there, that just sets it off.
Yeah. So it's just, I don't think, it's not that just that it's not ready for it, but I don't think, because we're human beings first, I don't think there's ever going to be a time where we're going to want to completely do away with that human intervention.
Yeah.
And a lot of these AI things that are coming up, or that seems to be the end goal.
We are social creatures, just by nature. We are social creatures that like to be around one another and talk to one another. And I think that's why a lot of these large language model AI bots now have a really human, realistic voices.
Very realistic.
And the update to Alexa is uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I've actually seen instances right now with Grok, where if you have a long enough conversation with Grok, a voice conversation, it may bug out. And I've seen a couple different instances where it starts imitating your voice. It's talked to you so much, it's learned your voice and just responds back in your voice for one bit.
How you sound, or
how you sound. So it'll sound like me on air talking back to me.
I haven't experienced that yet. Maybe I've had a few conversation mode sessions with Grok. But most of mine, I turn off. I don't start off with that because, by default, when you get the latest version of Grok that has that built in, it has a voice thing coming up, and it was kind of annoying at first. It took me a few times getting into Grok to figure out, wait a minute, let me just figure out how to turn this off because I don't want to use my voice every time. Initially.
Yeah. And it's way easier to use a text-based LLM as well because it's silent. If you're standing there, someone needing research quickly, you can tell it, text it, and it'll text it back to you. You can read and refer to. Whereas with your speaking it to it, we're humans. We don't always grasp all of the words that are being thrown to us. And let's face it, AI loves to give very detailed responses. But having somebody say that back to you, a simple one sentence could have answered it, but the AI gave you paragraphs instead. So, you're almost signing up for a lecture sometimes when you're talking to these AI bots.
You are. And just to interject something else, quick switch, is that when we, a couple weeks ago, talked about my frustration with ChatGPT, where it actually forgot things and it come back and told me, no, I didn't forget anything, but it did. And with this latest version of ChatGPT that just came out on March 5th, if you look at the highlights, what's changed, that they say what's changed, one of the bullet points is better memory, won't forget conversations.
Vindication.
What? You just told me.
Vindicated.
You were
finally.
Silent. You can silently say to them, "I told you so."
So crazy. So listen, don't forget a few things before this break. A new trade-in program at Refresh Computers, you can go to our website, and there's a banner that runs across. You can click on that banner. It explains the trade-in program in detail. You have to actually bring the device into the store to get a trade-in value to any computer that you purchase from Refresh Computers. It's only good for computers you buy from Refresh Computers. So when you want to upgrade, you can do that. So when we come back, we're going to wrap up with a few things, and some of them recapping a lot of what we just talked about.
And only computers, no stair-climbing vacuums as of this point. You've been listening to Tech Talk right here on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Welcome back to Tech Talk here on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk. I'm Greg Rhodes here with David Levitt, president and founder of Refresh Computer Superstore, and technician Adam Littlefield. You can contact the Refresh Computer Superstore by calling their free tech support hotline at 407-478-8200. And don't forget to check out the website at refreshcomputers.net. And now, back to David and Adam.
All right. Thanks, Greg. And thanks, everybody, for listening to Tech Talk with Refresh Computers. We had a lot of interesting conversations on today's show, a lot of technology stuff. So if you missed any of it, you can go to refreshcomputers.net, click on the podcast link at the top of the page, and you can listen to the show in its entirety. Better yet, scroll down to the bottom of the page, enter your email address right there, and you can be notified via email as soon as this podcast is ready to be broadcast, and this one and future ones.
Yep.
And, we were talking a lot about, all kinds of AI stuff again.
AI is all over the world at this point.
Yeah.
It's something that we didn't expect to turn into this.
And advances in AI and whether or not the computer that you own today is AI capable. And I'm going to say, 99. If you're running a Windows 11 computer, it's definitely AI capable.
Right.
So you don't need to upgrade to some fancy neural processing unit computer or anything like that. Not for the vast majority of us, because let's face it, the people who make all the AI tools, the ChatGPTs of the world and the Groks of the world, know that the vast majority, of computers that are out there are 8th generation or newer.
Right. They're doing a lot of the heavy lifting on their end.
So all the processing is actually done in the cloud, or 99% of the processing is done in the cloud. So you don't need something big and fancy to take advantage of these AI tools. So, Adam, you were talking about during the break.
Yes, Operation Senior Shield. I remember talking about this a couple months ago. It's a whole fraud alert system that I believe the state of Florida, has been putting out, and they actually just put out a new one today talking about a bunch of fraud that's going to be coming out because of St. Patrick's Day. It's the luck season, as a lot of people like to call it, and it's there are going to be a lot of scams coming up saying, oh, you won this fabulous prize, this large amount of money,
this big pot of gold.
All we need you to do is go on our website and just make a small $5,000 fee transaction or something like that. They're going to be asking for money up front, and it's not going to be something real. When you have a winning like that, a random winning, they're not going to be asking you for money. Never. So,
and a lot of times, we get calls, and you can certainly call us at the free tech support hotline.
Yeah, 407-478-8200. You got a weird email or something, we can kind of help you out to figure out if it's real or not.
Or a screen pop. Yeah. Sometimes you get a pop-up on your screen. You don't know, should I do this or not? Give us a call. We get those calls all the time, don't we?
We do.
Adam?
Yeah.
People are like, oh, I got this on my screen. I don't know what to do. Well, that's what the free tech support hotline is there for.
Exactly. Right? A lot of times we can hear it in the background too. It's making a loud beeping noise or something. And those are the ones that really scare people, and that's the point of them.
Well, if it comes with the beeping noise or any kind of sound at all, it's always fake.
Oh, yeah. Immediately.
We'll throw that out there.
But yeah, if that's something that you're interested in, the Operation Senior Shield, you can sign up for it at opseniorshieldfl.com. Or if you want, you can come by the store. We can help you get signed up for it. Just make sure that you yourself are protected from all these scams that are going to be coming up.
It's a really great tool, and it's put out by the state of Florida.
Yeah.
Right?
So they're aware, too, of what's going on.
And so they monitor all the latest scams, and especially the ones targeting seniors.
Yes.
So you can sign up for the alerts.
Yeah, and you don't have to be a senior to sign up either.
No,
you can sign up on behalf of your loved one.
That's right.
If you regard to, and that's what I did.
And what's the website again?
It is opseniorshieldfl.com. So
Great.
opseniorshieldfl.com.
All right. Well, folks, we're winding the show down today. It's been a real pleasure doing the show with you again. And one of the things I wanted to mention is the fact that I'm hoping that we are talking in a way and explaining things in a way on these shows to bring out like the little inner nerd in you, because we're all nerds today.
We're all nerds at our core.
We're all nerds in some way or another.
Technology is exciting.
Whether we want to admit it or not. There's an inner nerd in all of us, and I'm hoping that we were able to touch that inner nerd sometime during the show today. And don't forget that free tech support hotline. It's 407-478-8200. And that's all we have time for today. We'll be talking to you again next week.